on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo. Always have with me. Hello, Dr. Obiachiri Ugbo. How are you today?
Hi, Dr. Morayo.
How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. So on Saturday, after we bought the ATM card, we realized that we have entered Band A. They did not want us.
Shocker.
They did not call us.
Welcome to the
There was
club.
no conversation, no stakeholders meeting. How do you put me to Band A? Did I tell you I wanted Band A? And the bill was just so, and I'm sure they've added us, quite a while before we realized it, because we now started calculating, why are we spending so much on, electricity, only for us to realize that by the time we checked the units and divided it, we're already in Band A.
Oh.
So now I don't even know how to start explaining to the kids there are no AC on in your room, because my house is not really ventilated like that. The way they build houses in those areas, they just want to put everybody together. So we don't have a lot of ventilation, and that AC just works. So how do I now tell them? And they're home, they're on holiday. So don't put on your ACs, so everybody I don't know how to have that conversation, and it's just so scary.
I'm just thankful to my own house, God, that I have a ventilated house. Because because my bill came last summer. Brown was saying, our bill came, I said, how much? He said 90K. So from 480 to 120, now 90, because we have...
You cut off everything.
We don't. In fact, anyways, are you suffering, Morayo? People are calling my husband, are you sure you're not suffering your wife? Because all our neighbors are wondering where...
At some point in time.
We reduced washing machine. It's now once or twice a week max.
Okay.
I got in a washman now to wash the heavy clothes, the heavy lifting with hands.
Just
I'll pay him that one off. He only wash maybe their school uniforms and just basic things.
Okay.
And then we don't use the air conditioners again. We just bought fans.
Heat will kill you.
Well, your own house, my own. The weather is pretty cool.
The weather is actually
the weather is
cool.
right
God and federal government had a conversation because I don't know how this cool air.
But let's see how it will look.
Let's see.
By November, December.
We'll see.
Wow.
How are you doing, Tokwe?
I'm very good. Had a very eventful couple of days from Lagos to Abuja, back to Lagos. Event. Me, I love to speak as a speaking person. But I was...
I wish they can be sending my invitations to you, but live. When I go,
I had an amazing
I really wish.
Pegasus women, as in, I've never been in a meeting of union. So I went to bed at Solidarity Forever. I was singing in my head because they were singing Solidarity over and over again. But it's good to see, this was the first time Pegasus women will be holding a conference or coming together. And they had an association, but they were not really, now they're pushing to strengthen. So I was speaking on leadership and growth and investment, because for you to win any election, even in a small union, you need financial empowerment. You need to be able to lead people, to convince them to buy into your agenda. And if there's no representation, we are whatever you're clamoring for as a woman there will be no movement to support you, because they're not wearing your shoes. So
they don't understand your pain.
Yeah, so that was
well
good.
done. Yeah, I'm looking for where to buy accents for my son. Because we went for their graduation on Friday, and all the kids were speaking for different things. Queen's English, the diction was they were really speaking properly, and I was like, oh my goodness, these children, it's as if they travel in London for a weekend and come back Monday to Friday to come to school, because they all speak so well. They gave the mic to my little boy.
He showed them.
The giant fell down and died.
That he was in Nigeria.
Yeah, my husband said, what is going on here? It was a total 350. I'm like, Mr. Gabriel, we have to stop. We have to find, we have to go and buy you.
I'm proud of him.
I'm happy for him, but it's just that it's just so different. I'm like, bro,
he knows who he is.
I'm happy for him, but when you want to say giant, I say giant.
So it's a lot of influence.
Because he has more influence with
within the house.
Within the house. So he's giant.
Don't stress my son.
And I was like,
no, but they have diction from primary, so they
eventually
would get it.
Once he gets to primary now, hopefully they start teaching him diction, because I'm going around and say giant.
I don't know. The Indians speak with their accent, and we don't bury them. We don't kill them.
I'm just saying that, man.
Especially because Morayo can do.
I can flip.
She can flip.
I can switch.
You school there.
My son cannot switch. Purely not even Lagos English.
His grandma's baby, please leave him.
Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll look at the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with The Nation. Banks' credit to private sector rises to 74.3 trillion. NBA asks police state action on ECMR enforcement. Petrol to roll out from Dangote refinery next month. We've been hearing these things. December. But hopefully. Okay, which story are we taking?
Yes, Dangote. So the President and Chief Executive Officer of Dangote Industries Limited, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, disclosed that the Dangote Petroleum Refinery will be listed on the Nigerian exchange before the end of March 2025. It also came as the refinery again delayed the date for the supply of premium motor spirits known as petrol till August, which was another shift from July. They had promised July initially. So he disclosed that the refinery was set to roll out its petrol in August 2024, having resolved its crude oil supply issues through the help of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and federal government. And he said when he took the senior, he said this while he took the senior journalist on a tour of the refinery and the Dangote fertilizer plant in Ibeju, Lekki. That was yesterday. So he says, and I quote, "We plan to list the refinery and petrochemical before the end of the first quarter of next year." And he went ahead to also say that he has that the international oil companies also have been able to resolve their crude oil supply for last week. He says the issue of crude has been settled last week, but we hope that the IOCs will respect it. Now, before jumping back into the IOCs, he mentioned that the federal government owned just 7.2% in Dangote Refinery against the 20% that was publicized. And, they failed to pay for the balance of the 20% stake. So we just have to put it out there that it's 7.2% that they own with Dangote Refinery. Then back to the IOCs, he says that he feels the IOCs are deliberately and willfully frustrating the refinery's efforts to buy local crude by hiking the costs. And the last time they bought it over the market price by $6, thereby forcing them to import crude from countries as far as the US with the high cost. And he has a feeling that these IOCs have an intent on keeping Nigeria as exporters, while we are not able to produce our own crude here. And that's why they are doing everything to frustrate him from buying crude here. You see that we are the problems that we have ourselves. I'm sure there are stakeholders there who are manning the business, who are making tons of money from us being exporters instead of refining our own crude. And now somebody has started up a business. You can't even support him with your own natural resources. He has to go and buy all the way from US. By the time the price is high now, we say Dangote is cheating somebody down. He's a businessman. He has to make his profits.
Okay, let me take this story from the banks. So the banks are increasing lending to private sector with an average of monthly of 1.6 trillion. It says that it has increased from 71 back in March. Now it's 74.3 trillion naira lending to the private sector. What this means, according to analysts, say that this is a measure of confidence in Nigerians. Nigerian banks, as foreign investors gradually took a more active stance in the nation's economy. Experts also agree that an increased private sector lending implies a major boost for the economy, as there's a link between credit to private sector and economic growth. So we're hoping that, but I don't know how much the interest rates will be, even if you are lending. So that's another conversation. But I'm happy that more banks are becoming the backbone of many of the SMEs that we have right now.
So I want to take the story from the perspective of NBA. The Nigerian Bar Association, as yesterday, urged the police. So the Nigerian Police Force has released an information that they are going to be implementing the Central Motor Registry Information System certificate, which will cost Nigerians 5,375 naira per vehicle, and that the deadline for registration has to be July 29. So the NBA, speaking on behalf of Nigerians, this one we're grateful for. The president of the NBA, Yakubu Meikel, said that he feels this is an additional hardship on Nigerians who are having to pay several taxes. They have an event coming up on the 18th of July with the theme tax tariffs and the taxpayers, exploring impact on the public and economy. And he said he will take it, he has sent a letter to the Nigerian Police Force. He said he will take it up with the presidency if need be, that this should not be implemented right now, that Nigerians are going through a whole lot.
It's not a hot topic, because only those who have interest in kidnapping, you've invested in kidnapping, you've invested in banditry, you say that this is not good for, because what we need, what this does, you understand what it does? It helps them to be able to trace better. You know how, because we're having issues of insecurity, kidnapping, some of these things are people that are traced to it. The police are unable to track people.
What happened to the one we have done?
Well, no, that's a different conversation. So that's a conversation we need to have, a robust conversation to know what's been done in the past, where we are right now, why there was need for this, but what she tell us was necessary. The Punch.
Free.
Dangote, we love three things. That's why I'm paying 90,000. When I was silly, turning on all the conditions in my house, thinking I can be living lavishly. Now, Monday has put me in my level. So we all need to just read. Sorry, moving on. The Punch. Dangote lists refinery shares March, supplies petrol August. Tinubu world leaders condemn assassination attempt on Trump. CBN drops Bureau de Change operators in $123 million sale. And any story inside, anybody?
Yes, sure. I have a story inside. So, some unidentified assailants allegedly killed a maize farmer named Oga Fidelis in his farm in Odomo CB area of Ijebu-Igbo on Saturday. They said the incident occurred just 2 weeks after a rice farmer named Taiwo Paul was reportedly murdered by suspected headers in the Kata area of Owekoro local government. The victim was discovered in a critical condition, lying in a pool of blood at his rice plantation with severe cuts to his neck and leg, right leg. His brother, that's his twin brother, Kehinde, found him groaning in pain before he eventually succumbed to the injuries. So, however, the state police command, through its spokesperson, Omolola Odutola, was the one who informed the correspondents that the two incidents were unrelated and that the perpetrators behind the Saturday's incidents were yet to be found. And a source also in the police command also said that what happened was that the Fidelis family grew worried from his lack of return from the farm after he had left early that Saturday morning, and they had to get a search party going. They dispatched the search party to the farm to comb the farm and surrounding area, only for them to find his lifeless body in the farm with severe machete cuts on his neck and other parts of his body. So the police spokesperson, in a telephone conversation with the correspondent on Sunday, said the corpse had been taken to the hospital for autopsy and that investigation is still ongoing. We're hoping that they will be able to fish out the perpetrators of this.
So let's go on a short break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're so glad to have Mariam Lunga join us. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
How's traffic?
Traffic was terrible. At first, I didn't know what it was about, but
Excuse me.
they had directed all traffic under the bridge. That's, as you're approaching the Ojuelegba bridge, was cordoned off, and so we had to go under. And when I got to the foot of the bridge, I saw that the tanker had fallen over.
Yeah.
Really,
It takes one
And so,
one accident.
yeah, that's why it took us
down.
this long.
One thing happened.
Thank you.
It just gets really. Okay, let me take a story in the Punch. So President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has joined other world leaders to condemn the shooting in Pennsylvania. That was at the rally by Donald Trump. He was the candidate of he's the candidate of the Republican Party in the United States, and he was shot at during his rally at Pennsylvania. FBI has said that the culprit, Thomas Matthew Crooks, 20, of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, is a subject involved in the assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump on July 13th. And many presidents reacting to this, the attack on Donald Trump is distasteful and goes beyond the pale of democratic norms. Violence has no place in democracy. I extend my sympathies to the former president and wish him relief. I also condole with the family of the deceased and those wounded and wish them quick recovery. So 2 were critically injured and 1 died. Nigeria stands in solidarity with the United States at this time and hope that this would never happen again.
So I'm taking this story about the children from the school, Simpsons. This school is called the Girls Academy, located on Simpson Street, Lagos Island. And I'm taking it because there are many schools, public schools, suffering from the challenge that this particular Girls Academy school located in Lagos Island is suffering from. So the president of the Alumni Association of this Girls Academy on Simpson Street, Lagos Island, has come out. They did a tour of the school, said that the flooding has caused major damage within the school. Even though they've always been susceptible to having flooding within the school, this time it is really worse. And there's a particular pole that is hanging an electric pole hanging in a dangerous way that needs to be removed. They are asking the government that this pole can be a death trap and it is better avoided, because if it rains again, it can bring about a case where the pole would fall and it is falling on the school. I'm happy the association, the alumni association of the school is speaking up. We need to have more people speaking up like that, because there are many small issues like this that probably the government will not see.
The good part, Tope, is that now that local government is getting money directly from FAC,
we can hold them accountable.
We can hold them because it's their job now, because they should be going around to the schools because it's not government, it's not
it's not state government.
It's not someone that will be going around knowing that the pole fell down in somebody's school, because the local government matter. So local government chairman now, you must know.
Please, local government, the road in that area. The road in K2 area too is very, very...
With this money that they're collecting.
Before they even get the money, already dragging them. Can you not just wait?
We will start getting their names where we are going to come for you. Mr. Lagbaja, there's a pole in Clinical Grammar School. Go and pick it up. Okay, Vanguard, very quickly. Consumer spending down as Nigerians remain gloomy on economy. Some more agreement. Ombudsman begins probe of federal government's complaint against Daily Trust. NBA gives IG 7 days to stop the ECMR certificate issuance. UK court dismisses PNID appeal, opposed for the €3 million award in favor of Nigeria. Okay, which story are we?
So the consumer spending. Let me take the story on consumer spending. The Financial Vanguard is released a finding that shows how consumer spending has been dropping month on month. They said by 5.7% in June. That means people are spending less money. Spent less money by 5% in June than they did the month before, and it's always been like that. 5.7% in June. It was also there was a drop also in the month before then, and this is based on the cost of living that has consistently risen over the past few months. They said as much as they spoke about the electricity, they spoke about buying power. Bismarck Rwani also gave his own reflecting on the cost, saying that it is when we're able to reduce the tariffs, the costs, then we can see increase. He said lowering the consumer spending, even from e-transaction payments, there are many, many small costs that are combined together. He also mentioned the cost of a healthy diet, because when we cut down on our expenses, we're eating poor food, and there is the side effect of that also bringing in health crises. Plenty statistics to show the fact that Nigerians are spending less, and they said we need to reduce this, that the weak spending is triggering a decline in e-payment transaction, which would affect the revenue that banks should make, because they make this from every transfer that takes place. They get their payments. As less transfer is taking place, there's a decline in revenue. The companies too are reducing their output in terms of manufacturing, and consumers are obviously spending less because their buying power has reduced because of the cost of living within the country.
So last week, 2 journalists were, kidnapped and taken to the terrorist den. Alabelewe and Abdurrahim Audu of Blueprint newspaper, alongside with their families. They were finally released back to their homes. And according to Alabelewe, he says that he never thought that he would be able to breathe the air of freedom within just a week. So he made a statement to the Minister of Information and National Orientation, thanking the National Security Advisor, NSA, Nuhu Ribadu, and his team for their swift intervention. He said, and I quote, "The rescue mission which brought us out of the bush yesterday gave us hope in the country and gave us confidence to believe that the government is serious about tackling the problem of kidnapping. I never thought that within a week our kidnapped would get out. We are grateful and that the government swung into action and ensured that we're released." And earlier, the Minister of Information and National Orientation had welcomed them when they were released, welcomed them to their home, and he says that he was happy that they were finally released and commended the security agencies for the speedy recovery. So the journalists went ahead to thank all of them. I also said that we need to just be a little more patient with this present administration, that they can see from their work that they are serious at least about the cases of insecurity. Okay.
Let me take the story of, so the federal government has reported Daily Trust to the Ombudsman. If you recall, we have the Ombudsman made up of the National Media Complaints Commission, NAMCC. So they had reported Daily Trust concerning the Samoa Agreement. If you recall also, Daily Trust came up with the publication, reported that the agreement signed by the federal government had contained clauses that compelled underdeveloped and developing nations to support agitations by the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community for the, as a condition to benefit from the $150 million. So, and federal government came out and said, denied that allegation, said that there was nothing like that, that the clause was expunged before it was signed. So they have now reported Daily Trust to the Ombudsman and asked them to do a thorough investigation because their alleged report has caused individuals and government officials to subject them to hate speech, threats, intimidation, and cyberbullying across social media. So they need to investigate them and provide the right punitive measures, direct newspaper management to issue an unequivocal apology to them for the reckless misinformation or dissemination of false information. So we'll see how that goes as the investigation progresses. Another story in Vanguard, okay?
Yes, Vanguard. A court of appeal in the UK has dismissed the appeal of Process and Industrial Development, that's P&ID, as we all know them. So there was a previous judgment halting the enforcement of the 11 billion award against Nigeria. The court had permitted P&ID to appeal the judgment, but has dismissed it. We remember the story. They had entered a deal in 2010 to build a gas processing plant in Calabar, Cross River, but the government said that the company did not, perform, did not fulfill their own end of the negotiation, and the Nigerian government also accused the company of trying to defraud the country. They said that, in fact, it was just a scam to defraud the country. Anyways, you know, the back and forth. In the end, P&ID has been asked to pay Nigeria £43 million. So they're in court, really, because they're saying one of the things is that the amount that they asked them to pay, is it going to be in Naira or is it going to be in pound sterling? Because as we know, the value of the Naira had depreciated significantly against the pound sterling. But Nigeria says they're paying their fees, their legal fees in pounds, you know, back and forth. Anyway, the court has said, go ahead, pay them in sterling because it's already been invoiced and everything. So that's...
sterling.
Yeah. Yes.
Nigerian Tribune, yes now. Financial autonomy, panic in states as 437 local governments risked zero allocation this month. National Media Complaints Commission begins investigation to the federal government on the alleged Daily Trust agreement publication. Tinubu world leaders react as Trump survives assassination. Importers lose 284 billion naira to cargo sampling at Lagos port in 5 years. Most states not viable. We don't need more. Which story do you have in Vanguard? Any story?
The SON one. I had to take the story. This is a whole lot of money to be lost. The importers are saying that they've lost a total of 248 billion. And this statement is coming from the National Association of Government-Approved Freight Forwarders, said that between NAFDAC and Standard Organization of Nigeria, and all the other agencies that are checking for things, they take samples from each container, sometimes 10 of each item from different containers, with the intention that they will return when they are done with doing the sampling. If they've done their test, they will return it and confirm, if they affirm that it is good enough for Nigerians. So they never return those things. That what the importers always complain about what they have lost, and the volume of what they have lost over the past 5 years is worth 248 billion. That is SON and NAFDAC saying that when they've taken samples and they've used them for the test, what happens to the remaining products? Because it is cartels that are taken, that they are convinced that there is a connivance between agencies to rip off importers, and the items being taken are consumed. That if not, why would they not return those items to the companies that they took it from after taking the particular, the bottles or whatever they are using for samples? I totally want to agree, because it's a whole lot of money if they have proof to back it up. And I'll be expecting that NAFDAC and SON should also say how many they use for samples and what they do with the remaining, and who is supposed to return them back to the companies, the importers, and that is not doing it.
Yeah, so the Lagos State Task Force on Environment and Special Offences Enforcement Unit has arrested 8 persons and confiscated dozens of cartons of contaminated turkey in Ekpe area of the state. So according to the news agency of Nigeria, the spokesperson for agency, Mr. Gbadeyon Abdulrahim, said this yesterday in a statement, and he said these turkeys were seized by the Nigerian Customs Service. He said they've been set ablaze at a dump site because they were contaminated and could cause cholera outbreak. He said somehow the contaminated turkeys found their way into the hands of unscrupulous elements trying to sell them to members of the public, and that was why they swooped in and then, you know, destroyed it. So they also raided shanties close to dump sites where they found it turkeys, and they had destroyed all of them there. And also arrested the suspect with some of the turkeys. And the advice is we need to be very careful what we buy. We have people who are hell-bent on making money however they... Anyhow, they find it, and then...
Our final paper, very quickly, the point: we are dying. Nigerians in Libya cry out over rising torture, xenophobia, and abuse. 93-year-old woman raped by strange young man dies weeks after trauma.
I have a major headline. So many Nigerians and other African migrants in Libya are currently caught in a web of widespread, they call it widespread and systematic human rights violations, torture, exploitation, discrimination, detention, abuses against them. There are reports especially of sexual abuse against Nigerian ladies by Libyan citizens. The Libyans are complaining that these people, that's Nigerians and other Africans, are in their land trying to take over, you know, whatever resources it is that they have. Many of the Nigerians said that they actually caught in Libya. The plan was for them to, you know, move to Europe. Anyway, there's just huge human rights violation against our people in Libya. They said the human rights, UN Human Rights Chief Volker had reported this as well on his X, and he had condemned it. You know, many people are speaking up against it, but according to this report, they had tried to reach NIDCOM, but they haven't heard anything yet. They said they made calls, they sent text messages, and nothing is going on yet. But the UN human rights person says that investigation is being carried out. And as we know also, they made a lot of deportations recently. Many Nigerians were, you know, deported. So obviously there's an issue in Libya with Nigerians over there, and I hope that we can quickly, you know, sort us out. But also, as we know, on the back is that many Nigerians are trying illegally to get to Europe and find themselves stuck in this country.
Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, on to our hot topic of today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're starting today with our Let's Talk segment. Last week, the Supreme Court granted full financial autonomy to local governments, meaning that it is unconstitutional for state governors to hold funds allocated to local government administrations. Joining us on the show is Senator Sunday Stevie Karimu, representing Kogi West Senatorial District, Kogi State. He's also the chairman of the Committee on Senate Services. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start with the judgment. What was your own initial reaction when you heard this landmark judgment from the Supreme Court last week?
Okay. Let me first say something that the opinion I'm going to express here is my personal opinion, not the opinion of the National Assembly as a whole. Okay. In the first place, I will give kudos to the Minister of Justice and the Attorney General of the Federation, representing the government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for for bringing this case to the Supreme Court. Okay. You find out that in the last few years of our democracy, the top tier of government, the local government, has been completely taken over by the state government. The government at the grassroots is not there. Yeah. What we have in most states of the Federation as a local government administration is nothing to write home about. Okay. So the Supreme Court has put a stop to that. And the Supreme Court is a court of constitution, is a court of policy. They have given us a policy direction. And we all have to abide by that direction. Power has been restored back to the people. And we thank President Tinubu for this action.
So, okay, go ahead.
What do you think this means now for regular Nigerians listening? What would it mean, or what would we see differently going forward? What would be the ideal given this case, this judgment?
What we are going to see differently is the fact that revenue accruing to local government has to go directly to the local governments.
Okay.
What we had before is a situation where, because of Section 162, subsection 5 and 6 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which gave state government to set up an account known as JAC, so that they are the custodian of revenue accruing to local government from the federation account. When they have the custody of these monies, the Constitution doesn't give them power to spend it on behalf of the local government. But most states of the federation, they've been spending this money without even allowing the local governments to take charge of their local government. They are just glorified local government chairmen. So, what the Supreme Court had made a policy now. We need to go back and do our work in the National Assembly. We are supposed to scrap Section 5 and 6. Subsection 5 and 6 of Section 162.
Okay.
Because with the Supreme Court judgment, those sections are now null and void.
Which sections are these, please? Could you tell us which sections you're talking about?
I'm talking of Section 126, subsection 5 and 6.
Because the reason I'm asking is because Afenifere Chief Debanjo was saying that this judgment is a conspiracy against democracy. He's saying that rather than the Supreme Court to have interpreted the Constitution to uphold its elementary but overriding federal principle, which recognizes only two tiers of the federal structure of the central government and federal states, it only played to the gallery by allowing itself the most retrogressive declaration that the power of the government is portioned into three arms of government. So, as a Nigerian, we get confused because we were told that it's three arms, but he's saying that what the Constitution says is two tiers. So,
let's go back to the Constitution.
Okay.
Section 126, subsection 1 talks about how funds of pool accruing to government, how we're supposed to share it. Section 2 of that also talk about FAC, setting up an account known as FAC. Subsection 3 talk about, I'm talking of subsection 3 of Section 162, talk about funds accruing to the federal government ought to be shared by the three tiers of government, not two tiers.
Okay.
Three tiers specifically: the federal, the state, and the local government. But unlike 1989 Constitution, where it was stated that the funds for the state, for the local government, has to go directly to the local government account. That is 1989 Constitution.
Okay.
1999 Constitution created subsection 5 and 6 that says funds accruing to local government will go to an account called JAC in the state, from where it will be distributed, disbursed to the local government accounts.
Okay.
So because of this lacuna,
Okay.
the state government, most states of the federation, when this money get to JAC,
Hold on to it.
Yeah.
they hold on
They don't
to
release it, yes.
and spend it the way they feel like.
Yeah. So,
Thereby taking over the power
The local
of
government.
the local government.
government, yes.
So what this government has done, and what Supreme Court has done, they have the power to do that.
Okay.
The Supreme Court is the policy-making court.
Okay.
When there's a lacuna in the law, the Supreme Court is there to correct it.
Yeah.
And what they have done is to correct it in favor of the people.
Yes.
What they have done is to correct it in the favor of the masses of this country.
Yes.
Power at the grassroots is totally eroded. Local government administration is not there.
Okay, let me ask you a question, sir. I agree, absolutely agree with your opinion, and that was also my view when, you know, the news broke. Because I know that in school we were taught that we run a federal system of government, and it's 3 tiers of government that we have, which is the federal, the state, and the local government. Only for me to be hearing that it's 2-tier now, I was now confused. They were lying to us while we were in school at the time. But now I know that this came because there was a problem on ground, which was that the states took over the money supposed to be allocated to the local government and did not give them an opportunity to connect to the people by doing the things they needed to do for the people. And this is now reversing it back. But I want to ask you a question directly. How do you think the people can now hold the local government accountable? That's the crux of this whole thing. How do we ensure that they also do not take the money like the states have done and use it for things not for the benefits of the common man?
Okay,
do we have the power to do that?
Thank you. First of all, power belongs to the people.
Now, so they tell us.
What we need to do, we will still do. How elections are held in the local government.
Okay.
That is what we need to attend to.
Yep.
Okay.
The 3rd schedule of the Constitution, there's a section there that gives power to the set-up state independent electoral commission. We have to amend that section by all means so that INEC we conduct free, fair, and qualitative election in the local government.
Okay.
Not that they will just pick some people. Did you see what is happening in our states?
Yeah.
I'm talking of the states of the federation as a whole.
Yeah.
If APC is ruling in Lagos State, APC must win all
the local government
election in Lagos. PDP is ruling in Delta, they will win it 100%. They don't do any election, they just write result. I can tell you here. In that election, let's have real election so that APC can win some local government, PDP win some, and we are going to have people that are democratically elected in the local government. If you vote for me today and I didn't perform well, tomorrow you throw me out. That is how it is done all over the world. But here, the kind of election we are running that we are calling election in the local government, in the state, is just an unpick somebody and tell them to write the short and that's all. So, if at all we are going to have to be able to ask questions and hold our people accountable, let's have credible election.
First. We'll come to that in a second because I know that there's a conversation on ensuring that it's INEC that handles these elections compared to what we have right now. But let me go on a short break. When we come back, we'll take this further. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing here with our guest. Tokpo was going to say something.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you a question. This law obviously seemed to have the support of many people. Many Nigerians have been clamoring for development closest to home, and they feel maybe if they give more money to the local government chairman directly, they will be able to be more effective. But even with the structure as it is, we've heard stories of how local governments some local governments are carrying Ghana Must Go, because that's like there's no bank within the vicinity. We're making it look like there are some areas where there is no way to check how the money is being collected, how the money is being spent, because the local government probably has just one bank, and majority of people they are dealing with do not have accounts. So how do we ensure there's accountability and we don't have impunity? There is also a part of the conversation that San Ozekome came up with, the fact that all the caretaker committees, and majority of the state, about 22 of them, have caretaker committees, and I mean caretaker.
62 local governments are
just under caretakers. They were sacked illegally, and we're not having justice taking place within those places. So we should that when we not give these people money, we will not have another set of impunity. People that are very strong and have money to fight the law, employ lawyers, keep the case in court for the next few years until they're out of power.
Okay.
I'm not giving this one.
In the first place, talking about caretaker committee. Caretaker committee is illegal. Caretaker committee is against the Constitution, because the Constitution recognizes the fact that people that will govern local government has to be duly elected. So those states that are appointed caretaker, they are at variance with our Constitution. And with the judgment of the Supreme Court, they have no option than to retrace their step and hold credible elections. When you are talking of some local government not having banks, and it's not true. There is no local government that you go in Nigeria that you don't have banks. Even now, how do they pay the local government workers? They pay them through the banks. And when you are talking about corruption, let me say something. Having funds available to local government in the hand of 36 state governors, or having it in the hands of 774 people, either you like it or not, it also reduces corruption.
Yeah.
Because these 774 people will connect with the people. More than 36 governors. And we are not here trying to say that all
be perfect.
Our governors are corrupt. But let's play by the rule. Let's play by the Constitution. The Constitution doesn't give state governor the power to take over the functions of the local government at all. So what the Supreme Court has done is to say enough is enough. The Constitution is there. The Supreme Court has the power to make Constitution. When they have made a policy direction, that is the final. So the Supreme Court is a constitutional court. When when the Constitution is being interpreted wrongly, the Supreme Court is there to say this is the way.
Okay. All right.
And that is what President Tinubu has done for us. This problem has been there for how long? Okay. We have not been able to solve it. We have been trying to amend the Constitution, the National Assembly, to solve this problem. When it gets to some state, they will not agree. But the Supreme Court has put a stop to it, and we thank the President for that.
Right.
Okay, so, earlier I asked the question, I think I still need an answer. So, now we have empowered the local governments financially. And for me, I'm thinking we'll have better primary healthcare centers, schools, all the things, the infrastructure at the grassroots. But we have had conversations. The reason why governors have justified holding on to these funds is that, some of them maybe are not as the caliber of people who run for office at the grassroots. Either they are not well educated or well exposed or well, So there's something lacking that they are unable to meet grassroots demands. So what do you say about that?
Oh, come on. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria set up the qualification requirement for election. Okay. I want to tell you here, the qualification requirement for president, for governors, for national and state assembly member, and local government chairman, they are the same. So it is now left for you, the people. If a party present a candidate for you, that the local government people feel will not be able to manage the account of their local government well, that will not be able to run the government well, they have the power to reject such people. Let's leave the people to decide. It's a situation where those that are running local government are unpicked. That is where you have this problem. If you say the governors are saying that they are holding the money because
they can do a better job.
Because they can do it better, who gave them the power? Okay. They have no such power. The Constitution doesn't give them that power.
Sir, that people, we will say that the governors do not have the power, no constitution is backing it, but they've done it for several years and they've gotten away with it. So it makes you feel like,
they are hiding under section, sorry, I'm saying section 126 of section 5 and 6. That is what they've been hiding under to do it. Oh. Now, the Supreme Court has ruled against that section. It is now our responsibility in the National Assembly that subsection 5 and 6 is now outlawed.
Yes. Okay, so, I mean, the governors, obviously, many governors are totally against this. We've seen Sheyi Makinde totally, I don't know the word to use. He somewhat dismissed it in his
dismissed position.
So he didn't bother about it, and he said that there are more important things for us to focus than that. Oh wow. Other governors have some governors actually condemned it, saying that it's totally against our current system. Just everybody's going back and forth debating it. But I'd like us to use this show to educate Nigerians to understand the kind of power that's been given to them, because we hear it all the time. We know about it, but we don't understand the gravity or the magnitude of what we're talking about. So I hear what Mariam is saying, that, okay, so we've elected regular folks. Maybe people have been appointed as the person in charge today. Now they've been empowered financially. There's a possibility that many of them might not be able to handle these funds properly and misuse it. But the beauty of it is that because they are so close to the people, we can actually literally hold them accountable. They're closer to us. Yeah. So I'd like you to use a few moments to help Nigerians understand the benefits of this new power that's been given to Nigerians.
Can I add a little to that? So, just for context. So, do we now begin to ask them for the local government budgets? Every local government should be able to present their budgets, pop and plain. Then we also ask them where the money is going to, which projects have they done from time to time, and also monitor. So we have a lot to do as the citizens of each locality. Yeah. Yes, so just add more on what we can do to show that we actually now have the power.
Okay. Let me first say that the local government administration, we have their own constitution. They are councillors.
Yes.
They are council chairmen and all that. In the nooks and crannies of this country, we have men that are capable to run and manage a local government effectively. Okay. We have so many idle people all over the place that are very, people that competent. Let them run for offices. Let's get them elected. Those days, we have local government doing a lot in infrastructural development, constructing culvert, bridges, managing sanitation work in the
market
areas, running health centers and all that. But you don't see that going on lately. So what this decision of the Supreme Court has done is to take back development to the people. To take back development into our communities. To take the cash flow in the communities now will be very high. And it will affect the economy of our communities. So let this be taken back to our people. Power is being restored to them. Funds are coming to the local government for people to manage. People that will run from the local government to the state headquarters to Abuja looking for businesses and all that. Businesses will now be available for them in the local government. And that is what this government has done for our people. That is what this government has done for the grassroots of the masses of this country. So, anybody that is against that is against the people of the country.
So, for example, now, let me just give I like what you just said. So, for example, you are traveling all over, they're looking for, there's this one emperor per state, governor of the state, all that one, that's because they're emperors. Now, that power has been somewhat taken from them and given back to the local government. So what that means is that, so you see the gutters are really clogged up. Instead of waiting for somebody, you as a private person, you know what, I can get a contractor to actually clear all the gutters in Koshofe local government or in this Ikeja local government. Let me go and talk to my chairman. My chairman, this is my proposal. Let me do this. I'll handle it. And he can monitor easier. Because he's in Koshofe. He drives there, everything. He lives there. So instead of you traveling to Abuja, going to go and look for one senator or one clinical for contract, coming to disturb you.
Who may not understand the pain because he's not in Koshofe.
Here, come on, the job is here. That's what you just said. But let me go on the break. When we come back, take this further. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So, talking about the impact of the governors, this declaration by the Supreme Court, the effect it will have on our governors, who their power, their influence might reduce as a result of this. And the truth is that many of them will find some kind of backdoor to retain control. How do you think we can work around that? Because there's a possibility governors in some states will not comply. There's a possibility. There's some states, yes, but some states, there's a possibility that these governors will not comply. What can be done in this situation?
I want to say that our governors are responsible people. And I don't think any governor in Nigeria will refuse to comply with the ruling of the Supreme Court. That would be an aberration. So I respect our governors, and I know this has not taken anything away from them, really. Because I said
yes,
it has not taken anything away from them.
I think so.
If you want to, it's all politics. The influence of governors in election is massive. You can't take it away from them. If you want to do well in your state, in election, work closely with your governor. So, are you saying that governors will not be able to still work with the people to ensure, like, let me give you an example, Lagos State. Are you saying Sanwo-Olu will not be able to, he's doing well.
Yeah, he is.
Sanwo-Olu is doing well. He will be able to influence who become local government chairmen in most parts of Lagos State.
Let's talk about Kogi State for a second. How is Kogi? What do you think of Kogi State in this situation? How do you think the governor would react?
The governor will comply with the ruling of the...
It's not in their power because the money will go straight to
the local government.
That's the thing.
The governor is a gentleman. He has no option but to comply with the ruling of the Supreme Court.
Okay, so I wanted to ask about scenarios, because if as a leader, you have to do scenario building. You must think, what if this happens? How would they react? What if this happens? What are all the possible scenarios, and we should prepare for it? So ideally, we're looking at it that from the obvious scenario is that this is good. Local governments can get the fund they need. We can hold them accountable. They are closer to the people. But what are the other things that you feel we might be overlooking, and how do you think we can prepare for it?
You see, the first thing is the transition period between what is happening now, before now, and the Supreme Court ruling. How do we manage that? You have just said that you have about
462 local governments.
462 local governments that are run
by caretakers.
By caretaker committee. What will be the transitional arrangement? Because you cannot
take them out.
Hold the election within
a month,
a week or 2, 3. So you have to conduct credible elections.
Wow.
And this election will still, the election that will be done now, for this 462 or so, what did you say? Will still have to be conducted by SEC. So,
what do you say to those arguing that INEC should take over the elections in these days?
They will take over after we amend the laws.
Oh, okay.
And when would that, how long would that take?
We'll start the process now. And let me also tell you something. To get this law amended, we need the support of the government.
The governance, okay.
Because even if at the National Assembly, which the National Assembly did before now, severally.
Yes, they didn't sign up.
But we need 2/3
of the governors.
Hey, hope they will not wait for them at Amen Junction.
That's interesting because for most of us, we think it's just automatic. But now there's a process that you need 2/3
support from the states.
To sign the law.
Yes,
it doesn't affect the money. They will get the money.
No, amend it as law.
That one doesn't affect.
It doesn't affect the law.
The money.
Court judgment has
is
funds going to.
But for the constitution
to be amended,
so that INEC can handle their elections.
Yes, this is for INEC.
It's for INEC.
Yes,
this is to have. There are 2 different things. The money will still go as of today.
Yes.
The law is that the law that has been expunged, the section 5 and 6 has been expunged. So the money will go directly to the government.
Minus the 430-something local government. So those ones, their money, they will keep it for them till they sort themselves out.
The election.
So it is how to do
let's even talk about that money that will be kept aside.
This caretaker committee.
Okay.
Gani from Ondo, thanks for calling. You're live.
They can't touch money.
Gani, you're live. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
My name is Gani Dauda. I'm from Morayo.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead, sir.
I appreciate your photo this morning, particularly that concerns the local government administration. I want to thank my brother, Honorable Karimu, who is your guest this morning. The local government administration is the closest to the people. The problem we have majorly is the fact that majority of the governors that we have are not at any time being rooted to the operations of local government. There's no way they can understand how local government functions. The local government system, what they do is that at the beginning of the year, they present a budget to the councillors and the people of the local government. Having collected data of what they want the local government to do in their respective wards, they put it as a budget and read it to them. On this, that is why they score their marks on their performances. If any governor is saying a local government chairman or local government system will misuse the funds of local government, he's been rightly saying what he doesn't know. The local government is so committed, they know they live within the people. And that is how they can know what happens to them and how to address their issues. So the only thing that you see hanging about this issue is Local Government Service Commission. A chairman of a local government cannot even give a query to the staff who is a unified staff from level 7 and above of the staff. And mind you, these people will, the moment they get to level 7, the chairman of the local government can appoint from level 1 to level 6. But from level 7 and above, the state will appoint, the local government Service Commission will appoint, and they have the right to transfer to any local government within the state. When you bring a staff staff to a local government in local government A that he cannot even query, if the best you can do is to report to local government commission, local government service commission, who transfers that staff to another local government.
Thank you very much. So, I mean,
that's a different. You see, and I love this perspective because you know what? Mariam brought up the question of passing the law because there are many things that beyond the money. There are many other things. Because what this man said, which we haven't, I can't verify right now, is that local governments have some level of staff who are rotated across different local governments, and they are under the authority of the state and not the local government. So you can have people within your areas. So there are small things that can clog the wheel of the effectiveness of the local government.
Add to that, one of the issues, because in Lagos State, for example, we have LCDAs, which I don't think the federal the constitution recognizes. It does not recognize the LCDAs. So we have the local governments, and then was created, the LCDA was created. Now, who gives them
sections of the local government?
So that was when the former governor, President Tinubu used to be governor, he created those extra to bring government more closer to the people. So in the LCDAs now, who funds them today is still from the state. So is it going to be the local government that will be funding them? How is that going to go? LCDAs.
Okay.
These are conversations.
Let's know one thing. It is not only the funds coming from the federation account that goes to the local government.
Okay.
There are still some statutory funds from the state. State generates revenue. Revenue generated by the state, the share that is supposed to be for local government from those revenue
will still go to them.
Will still go to an account from which the state can disburse to the local government. So in a situation where you have the what do you call it?
LCDAs.
LCDA you have in Lagos, it can still be funded through the revenue locally generated by
the state.
But funds coming from
federal government,
FAC, based on Section 162, subsection 3, has to be distributed through the 3 tiers of government. And the only local government recognized by the Constitution today, there are 774 local governments. They are the ones that can benefit from this fund.
Okay, let me go on a very short break.
And let me also tell you something. If you have SCDF that is created within a local government in the Constitution, maybe because of a local government now, you have a SCDA created from it. There should be an arrangement.
So that's for the state, the House of Assembly. So the House of Assembly have to adjust to see how that's going to happen. But let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll take a few comments on social media and a few more calls and wrap up. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to take a few comments on social media as we wrap up on this. Any? Do you have any?
Kogi Michael says caretaker committees, and he puts a question mark that it is a vehicle for siphoning local government funds. He said, who sets up the caretaker committees is the states, and so they control what goes on there.
Kogi Michael also says development is from the ground up. The state governors cannot manage a local government area in their states. September Production says, make I go stand for my local government chairman office so they can complete the repair of my streets. Another Ghania says, like my governor is against it too. Make a cover up for him until I hear well from him.
So, I mean, as a citizen, for me, I mean, the reason why I get excited, when I got excited was because when I drive out my neighborhood and I see dirt on the floor and I see that there are efforts, we get all these cleaners who actually try to sweep it. But people are just not accustomed to keeping a good sanitary environment. So is when the local governments pay attention, where you are constantly reminded, where you are putting bins around, and it's not, you're not waiting for states to come and do it. You see the people, you are seeing your aunties, the one pushing the trucks. You are hiring people within the neighborhood, and it becomes we take ownership of our community, because now we have funds to do it. So for me, I really believe this is going to be a good idea. It's a good idea for Nigerians to begin to pay attention to what happens. But my only worry is corruption, because we are hoping these people who are leading the local government know what to do. And once they have been financially empowered, they know what to do. But the problem is that you cannot. So I think it was Ayofaya was saying that. Let me see his message.
So you can't be a local government chairman without the support.
Without the support,
governor.
Yeah. So I'm just worried of.
No, but you can.
That's what he is saying. So she's referring to what.
How do you bring out somebody? I always say that you're a result of your community you raised up, you grew up in. So I don't expect them to be the new saint. I don't expect them to become to know what to do. They're still Nigerians. They're still in this same corrupt society. So what's going to change their mindset? I don't know.
Yeah, but I would have, I think now we have to do some work. We've been dodging most of the time and just allowing, they are the leaders. They are the ones that are supposed to fix it for us. And we're not holding them accountable. We're not asking the right questions. Now everybody in a local government needs to understand the needs of that local government. And the few local governments have been able to access. It's not like going to the governor's office where they don't allow you. It's like a walk-in. You can walk into the local government secretariat, and meet somebody and ask questions and all of that. Maybe now it will change, but it's not supposed to change. I should have access to my local government. So now the people need to get involved in doing the work. Know your streets, know your neighbors, know the things that are going wrong, so that when you go, and also I think we also need to start asking when they have their meetings where people can come in, like those town hall meetings. We need to be involved in those town hall meetings so that we can point at those things. Now, when we know the budget that has been given to that local government, and we are saying, okay, this street, or you earmarked it, you were supposed to do it, you have not done it. But I wanted to just ask a small question. Where does the state government draw the line between, like federal government to say, this is not state road?
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
With the local governments.
Before you answer that question, let me take this call. Makama from Porakas. You're live, Makama.
Everybody there, thank you for
Good morning.
what you're doing.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Yeah. So concerning this local government financial autonomy, we are forgetting that we have been there before, because I do know that living at this point before. But the problem is that the local government themselves fail in their statutory duty. For instance, it is the statutory duty of local government to start salaries. But they might say, for instance, a long time ago, we understand that teachers were paying for salaries. The local government are not able to pay salaries. Teachers were paying their own salaries for months anymore. Local government are not able to pay them, complain that the funds are not enough. Then the state has to step in and take away that responsibility from them. And then they can't take away the responsibility from them and then put in the money.
Thank you very much. That's a fantastic point. He was reminding us that we've been here before.
Excuse me. Like, we shouldn't excuse one, maybe the situation that he talked about in Rivers State, where we had a time where local government were not able to pay salaries. Are you saying that it doesn't happen even with some states?
It does.
Federal government
because of that alone, they will take over the responsibility of local government.
No, let me just put what he's saying in proper context. There was a time where local government had that responsibility, even for education. Primary education was primarily their own work, and that's why UBEC was created as an intervention. UBEC was created as an intervention to support the basic education, the same thing. So local government failed in that. But so we're saying, so what this guy is saying is that, are we sure that even if we empower them, they can actually do what we hope they do?
We have no option than to obey the Constitution.
First of all.
Are you getting me?
Yeah.
We have no power. Nobody has the power to take over the responsibility of the local government. If a local government chairman is not doing well, then next election
you take him out.
You take him out and bring in someone else.
Or make noise, safe.
And let's face reality. When we are just heaping all the blames on local government, people don't have quality people managing local government and all that. Come on, that's not true. We have quality men, women all over the country that can manage a local government, that can even manage the state. And they are ready to go to local government to take up position. So let's leave the responsibility given to them by the Constitution. Let's leave them to perform that responsibility.
And see.
No one has the power to take it
from them. Okay. Engineer Abimaje from Delta State, you're live. Thanks for calling.
Good morning,
Good morning, sir.
And the distinguished senator and the rest of your crew.
Morning, sir.
It's obvious in this country that the major problem we have is corruption. And that what the governors are doing today, the local government chairmen are looking at it. And even our children are watching us live. What is happening? That the order of today is corruption in this country. If you don't do it, you are not part of the society today. Now, the distinguished senator that is with you there is from Kogi State. He knows what is happening in Kogi State. And I expect him to align the whole issue with the problem in Kogi State today. Right from local government down to the state level. He knows that in his own local government, there's nothing like local government president. He knows. And likewise, every other one local government. And the whole country. So if the issue of corruption is not need to enforce, nobody you employ, you appoint or you elect, they don't even do elections. But he's saying that there's going to be election. Let's see how it's going to work. But the INEC again is another problem. From the INEC to the judiciary, there are a lot of issues with this. The judgment was supposed to be a good one to the country, but please, if these things are not done, are not worked on, it cannot work. It will not work. Thank you.
Let me just add this tweet to what he says. He says, Frank Daniel is saying, as a matter of urgency, federal government should try and establish ICPC, EFCC office across the local government areas in our country so that whistleblowers, will be able to do their jobs.
Closer to the people.
The corruption talk.
Yeah, it also relating to what he had said earlier, we have state governors who have struggled with paying salary, who have owed pension and all of that. Sure. And we're not saying because they have been unable to manage their funds, the federal government should take over and start managing the funds for them. So I think that we should just give that room. And as I was reading the comments on YouTube, some people were mentioning their local government. That day, Yemo says, my local government is Shomolu and they are amazing. Almost all the streets, roads are interlocked, and I can imagine how much more it would do when it has autonomy. Somebody also mentioned a mayoress LCDA of our own that is within this area that is rebuilding the health center in a local government and is running again to be a chairman there. Another person now commented that, there's still some roads that needs to be done. Why? Because we now know that we can hold them. And another person is saying, I don't even know my chairman.
So interesting. I was invited by mayoress recently, and when I saw the catalog of the work that she had done, I was like, wow, really? Because many of us don't know. I was shocked. So it's important for us to now imagine if you empower somebody like that. But I was going to say that if you are faithful in little, can be faithful in more. Many of these local governments have not been faithful in little.
Yes.
Many of them, because I remember when my commissioner for education coming together was monitoring schools, and she would enter some place and wondering, what is your local government doing here? Yes. You see flood in the schools. You see trash.
Dilapidated classrooms.
Nothing is being done. So the idea is that some local governments, yes, are hardworking, no doubt. Others aren't. Just like the person that said about Shomolu. Others are saying at different communities across the country.
Just like some governors are not doing anything and some governors are very hardworking.
So I guess, but hopefully the competition.
Local government.
Hopefully once the local governments begin to improve, people that can now relocate to the areas they rather live in.
And I also think that we'll definitely see more citizenry participation and involvement in government, because now you're just a few steps away from me. I know you, I even know your house number. And so I'm able to point things out, because there are sometimes you see videos of local government area where there's a healthcare center, but it's overrun by bushes. And you're wondering, how come the governor did not see it? But then you understand, the governor cannot be everywhere, but the local government persons are there. And
yes, and I want to hope,
go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I want to hope also that now with more money coming in, the local government people will not begin to relocate into other areas or relocate abroad and be trying to manage it from there.
Let me let you have the final words, sir. So your final
mission. Would they buy SUVs?
Too early.
This position of the Supreme Court has helped to solve a problem that has been there for long. And we thank the government of President Tinubu for even instituting this case, for the courage to have instituted this case in the Supreme Court. And we want our state governors to also follow suit, work with the president, so that the transition period for the local government that have no elected chairmen all over the country, all over 400 local government has no elected chairman. So there is a transition period which has to be very smooth. So that people in those local government areas can have their salaries and the allowance and other funds that are needed for the development of the house.
Thank you very much, sir. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you, sir.
We'll be speaking with Senator Sunday Karimu for Kogi State. Thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Let's go on a short break now. When we come back, move on to our next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So the Ooni of Ife, Oba Enito Ogunwusi, has threatened to banish any trader, market man or woman who sells food items and other essential commodities beyond the reach of the common people in Ile-Ife. Apparently, the Ooni is dissatisfied with the current hike of foodstuff and other commodities in the market. This has made him read out the Riot Act to market men and women in the city of Ile-Ife. What are your thoughts on this? There was a video that showed one of his chiefs come out to announce to the women that all the various associations they are putting together has been dissolved, and that he must not hear of anybody increasing food prices arbitrarily in that community. Now, many have complimented or they have commended this directive. However, others are saying that this is against the law. Is it even right for you as an Oba, as a chief, or obviously the Oba, to categorically state that people cannot associate or have organizations or have groups as is constitutionally allowed for them to do? How can you say that no organizations is allowed, no market organizations will be allowed and, in your own domain? So that's the conversation. What are your thoughts on this? The good side, the bad side?
The ugly side.
On all the sides, you know, because you say government is about the people, politics is local, government is local. What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 081-0764-1679, 090-241-63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets.
Yeah.
Like to go
so
first.
A little background to the story. I think they realized that the unions were making the market women sell way higher than they actually would have loved to sell. And then they will blacklist market people who want to retain their normal prices just to be able to sell off their goods. And so this brought me to thinking that sometimes we have unions for the benefit of the people, but along the line, they lose the focus for which they have been created, and then they start causing problems for even the people that they were created for. Unions are normally supposed to support and enhance the market people or market women's experiences to make sure that they are not cheated, the taxes are not too much, and those are some of the things that they fight. But where the unions are now in charge of pegging prices for products, you are not the marketer, you are not the farmer, you are not the person selling. The person selling wants to sell this plate of tomatoes for 10 naira, but you're saying, no, because we have to peg a price so that we can make whatever it is we want to make out of it, everybody must sell 20 naira, and if you're caught selling 10 naira, and maybe in my head, I bought this thing for 5 naira, and I'm like, I put enough profit. I want to sell out this product, but then you're pegging it and then blacklisting me when I refuse to sell. So I think the Ooni doing this is stepping in to see how he can solve the problem of his community, which is a welcome development.
To put in other additional context,
okay,
there are some unions in a way to help you. So, for example, market women are saying, I'm having trouble getting transportation of my goods. Okay. So if we form a union, we can all put small money together and bring the goods from XYZ place here. So because of that, these unions, some have that, they have that power to say, okay, based on how much you bring into transportation, you can't continue to sell this at 5 naira. You must sell it at 10 naira because they are making those decisions. But it now depends on which union you are part of. Some might be expensive, some might be cheaper. So there's always that disparity in price on different groups. So it's not that somebody just arbitrarily just increased it. It's probably based on certain factors that they increase the prices.
But I hope as a market person, I should be able to determine how much I want to sell something now. Like if I bought it for 5 naira, I can say I'm okay with selling it for 7 naira. I'm feeling like the empathy, or I can make a decision based on how I'm feeling. But if it is imposed that I cannot sell less than this, based on how much we all agreed we will sell, that based on transportation cost, then it becomes a challenge. It's not even a first time, because in the Guardian report, the Owa Obokun of Ijesha land also had imposed something like this against unions. So it is obvious that it's a union thing, that a few people within them disagree with the way the prices are being pegged. And it is because we are all together. I don't want it to seem like I'm now selling below our agreed price. That's why there is a bit of hike in how the items are being sold. I bought bananas yesterday, and I had prices in a few places, and I saw a woman. When she put the banana together, there was a look like I feel like she wanted to go home. So it was just wanted to sell off. Take it 3,000. My mother was still saying 2,000. I just do that to like, did you know how much it went? Let's just carry. And a woman beside her was not saying, why? How will you sell for 2,000? Like they were actually having a conversation with her concerning why she's selling it. She said, I beg her, she wants to go home. And if I will take everything, I can take everything for 3,000 naira. So sometimes there are different reasons that people make their decisions, and they should be allowed to. Because I'm a member does not mean that I am tied in a way that does not give me the liberty to make my decisions. I can count my losses.
I hear the Ooni, and I hear, you both, and I think, to a very large extent, based on this context, that this is right, like the right move. But I don't know to what degree that his pronouncement would be effective. I think he does have influence, but I don't know if it makes it effective. But secondly, the reason we're looking at this also negatively is because right now it's about price hikes. There have been situations in markets where someone who is like a bigger buyer or distributor of a particular produce or product would crash the price and sell much lower than everyone else in the market. And so you find people struggling, and the unions have helped, in cases like that. Yeah. So for me, I hope that this conversation sat with the Ooni, sat with the associations to find out those factors that, made them put these prices. Now, whether we like it or not, all over the world, and Nigeria specifically, the inflation is, we know prices are terrible everywhere. Sometimes when I go to buy something and the person is like, now this country, I'm like, but I live in the same country as you, so it's affecting us all. And if for some reason, after conversations, we see that these unions are not doing anything arbitrarily, high or bad, I think that there can be like a balance, but to take them out right now, let's also remember that there are situations where they have stood and have protected the market people.
In addition to that, so that's what I'm saying, that does the Ooni have the right to just come out with this directive without talking to the unions, is maybe he has and we don't know, because what should have happened is a conversation with the unions, because just as Mariam said, there are instances where the unions come to support them. They have all these adjust things they do sometimes, where you put money together and it's these leaders can say, okay, we will help you to pay children's school fees, help you to do burial, you know. It's from these money. So they're saying, listen, for us to achieve, because of the prices of things right now, we can't afford to pay anybody's school fees here and there. So what we need you to do is start selling at this price so that we can have some money in the pot for every, you know, there could be different reasons. So I think the right thing, as noble as it is on the part of the Ooni, is to have a conversation to understand what is this, to what end are you doing it? So there's
I want to believe that he did not make this decision just waking up from his bed one day, chewing that their local chewing stick and say, okay, this is what I want. I want to believe that he may have had consultations. It may not have been public, but he had definitely, because he spoke from a place where he understood what the women were going through. How he now had the conversation is what we don't know. Maybe he would come out and explain to us. But we've always had over time where it seems like the problems we have with scarcity and our food and price hike most times emanates from middlemen, however they appear, whether it's the marketers, you know, who are in between the manufacturers or the farmers and then the consumers. Those ones are the ones that likely would overhike, would, you know, manufacture artificial scarcity, you know, just so that they can make more money. And people are saying, with what we are going through right now, if people are not going to use your brain to help your neighbor, we can do that for you. We can stand as an authority and say, for now, no unions, no this, no that. I want to believe that as things improve, we may look at it and say, okay, these unions actually do fight for you people. They have to come back.
But we can't state.
Yeah, so I think that right. Yeah, so I think he should be working with the price regulatory bodies with government.
No, but they're not affecting markets.
No, they will. We had the name of this body has escaped me right now, but we've had reports
FCCP.
on the news regularly. They've been going around regularly to check the prices.
Yes.
So not supermarkets. They've gone into markets. They will tell you some of the prices that they are seeing and the reason why those prices are the way they are at that particular moment. He can work with that body, because they are the ones that have the authority to be able to put any prices down.
There's something that he did that I feel is very good. In that, I noticed one of the things they said was prices of pepper shouldn't be starting from 500 naira. Some people don't have 500 naira and they cannot afford to cook because they don't have that much. They didn't earn that much that day. Can we start from 100 naira? Even if it is a smaller piece, you're going to
4 pieces
that will be provided under that 100 naira. Let there be a display portion of 100 naira, portion of 200. Not that you have set a benchmark that is so high
only 500
and cutting people off.
The question now is, as a Nigerian citizen, I am allowed by my constitution to associate. I have that constitutional right to have a union. Therefore, the king of my domain, does he have the right to stop me from associating? So we have to choose. What are we doing? A secular state? Are we doing what was the olden days way of autonomy? Wait, what kind of leadership structure do we have in our country? We can't just wake up this morning and say, okay, today I'm doing the king. No more associations. We live in. We're being run by
democracy. Is it because it's the king that made this, or if the government, if the state government had done the same thing, would you be asking
to go to the House? Go to the House of Assembly. You can't just wake up tomorrow and say you can't associate. The laws of the land allows me to associate.
But they have executive orders as well now.
No, the traditional...
No, I'm just saying, I was asking if it was the state government that did this. Are we going to be asking this same question?
Government cannot do that without...
They
have executive orders.
They also need to ensure that they go through the House of Assembly. There's a body that creates our laws for us.
Okay, so we're also saying, from what I hear, is that there's a process to do things in, you know, there's a government, there's a constitution, there's a way that we do things. There are some times that our leaders make this pronouncement, and what you get really is just sentimental reactions. It just makes you feel that, oh, he understands our cry. He really wants the best for us. And it's really to allay emotions of those around. But does it really have a tangible effect? It may not. And if that's the case, then it's almost like a waste if he does not back it up with, you know, what the Constitution has put in place or the bodies that have been put in place to help properly regulate. I would have liked that the Ooni had invited the bodies that regulate prices, that go into this market and say, these are our issues. We have talked to these people, and this is what we'll do. But if we just make pronouncements, we have said it for our politicians as well. Sometimes they'll just make this pronouncement and then they go home, but it doesn't do anything tangible. So it's not that the Ooni has done anything wrong. It's that what is the end game here? Is it really to see a response, a tangible effect on the prices? Or just to make
because there are positive reasons why those unions were created in the first place.
Sometimes they miss the mark.
Sometimes when they don't.
Yeah.
What if when they do? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Let me take this call. I'll come back to you, Tope. Vin from Ketu. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Vin.
So yesterday, Shonaike says that these unions are so powerful in the market and their taxation contributes to the high price of food in the market as well. So every organized produce has a union, and you pay to bring in the trucks. Sometimes we blame the middlemen, but the middlemen are incurring so much cost. You're bringing the thing from the market, from the farm and north or middle belt, and at every junction, the police will stop you, army will stop you, Agbero will stop you. Kidnappers will stop you. So you are
so paying. So the Ooni that has made this pronouncement, would you going to help them transport it for middle belt?
It's also important.
We have that plan.
No, it's important we have this conversation so that everybody on the road understands the part they are playing. You collecting that 100 naira that they will keep for you, they just give you 100. They will gather that 100 naira and add on the produce, which makes it more expensive at the end of the day. So we are all affecting ourselves, and if we want to make improvement, we should also cut back on the way we are asking for tips and tips.
It goes back to that conversation we always have. That
with the people.
With the people. Let's even choose. Because one second we want to go by the law, the rule of law. Next second,
when the law is not sweet.
When the law is not at their feet. We now say, no, that's the king. He can make that pronouncement. Just tell them. Just tell them.
And then tomorrow when you say something that is not
we now remind him that it's not powered by the law. So it's a difficult country sometimes.
To pick a side.
In this country, it's so difficult. Even I can't be a leader sometimes. It's so difficult because the people are left today and they're all right today and they're middle, and you're thinking, where are we as a people? You see how this conversation...
We move. We are fluid.
We are fluid. That's the word. We are constantly fluid in this country. Let's take a few comments on social media as we wrap up, because honestly...
Oh, my God.
But I do really hope that the king has consultations with all the various unions, because I believe... I mean, even this one this is our Nigerian Labour Congress. They started off all this, to fight for the people. Now they're focusing on minimum wage. They don't want to care if the Chinese company is sacking you illegally.
They don't bother about
only focus right now on the minimum wage issue. So all these things, the focuses usually change. But let us see was it created for.
No, times are hard, and when times are hard like this, sometimes even the smallest decision will be so complicated.
So have a message.
The Ooni really does have good intentions. I want to put that out there. He has good intentions, but I don't know how.
If this is the way. Okay. Corey Michael says, you don't think that before the Ooni took this decision, he must have received petitions? Ruth Adewale says, traditional rulers don't have the kind of right to. Today it favors the people, tomorrow they don't. Due process is always key. Adeni Itoyin says, here, there's no 200 naira pepe. If you insist that is the amount you want to pay or you can afford, they'll give you 3 to 4 pieces. And Fiona says 100 naira and 1 pepper be that too. Yetunde says these unions are so powerful in the market and their taxation contributes to the high prices of food in the markets. Mo Kayode says things are astronomically expensive everywhere in the world right now, but it be like saying Nigeria own day difference.
Honestly.
Well, let me just say something in support of the market. So we went to buy tomato and those bowls, and because I'm not really familiar with the paint bucket.
Okay. How much?
So my husband, we were able to buy for 7,500, and it was the last time he bought it, it was
about 15,000 now.
Yes, it was 12,000.
Where did you buy from?
Yes.
So he was saying that the Ketu market. It was the same person. He's a regular. My husband likes shopping. And he has his customers. They always greet him when he gets to the market. So the guy was like, when they were pricing, he said, but the last time you buy him, how much you buy him? You said, how much you buy him? I was like, okay, 12,000. I said, so when I'm saying, take it for 8,000, you know that the price has come down.
Sweetheart, I've never bought it for more than 8,000 naira. And I don't buy in the market. I buy in the shops because I found a hack. Before those people inflate their prices, they sell off what they have, first of all. So if there's scarcity and all of that, and those ones to where I buy from, they get directly from the farmers. I don't know how they make the arrangements. I have never bought more than 8,000. This paint bucket.
Morayo.
And I buy every week.
I bought I bought it. I walk my leg myself. Into that Ketu market and I bought 15,000.
I'm sure it's not Morayo prices.
It wasn't.
Because sometimes
I went there and I priced a few places.
When it was higher.
When it was higher.
8K, 8.5.
It's coming down. It's time for me to go and do shopping.
Inside shop,
talking about yams, there was a picture, I think in the north, what they are doing is they're cutting the yams in smaller sizes so that people can afford those ones.
I bought yam the other day. It was
Sweet potatoes.
I'm not eating yam.
8,000.
Sweet potato.
Oh,
Sweet
that's
potatoes
same
are
price.
good.
Yeah, and it's more filling.
Yes, sweet
Man,
potatoes.
sweeter.
We're doing a lot of
yes,
sweet
a little.
potatoes.
Yeah, I'll go and get potatoes today because I got yam because we're planting in our house. I bought like 2 tubers and they just fry it, they boil it, and I'm thinking, those times
I'm not seeing yam since in my house, even when we're doing our
shoot. We need to discuss rules for this summer holidays.
Yeah.
It's got to be new rules.
So beyond the fact that sweet potato is even healthier than the Irish and the yams, and then it's more filling, you buy a lot more.
So
we started doing that really.
Can fry, can boil,
and doing that. Why was it season?
I'm doing that now.
Yeah.
Sweet potato it is.
Sweet potato.
That's all we can take. But Mama Brown will not answer me. She's always pounding yam.
And put psyllium husk.
That's all we can take. It's still
Once you buy
Monday,
it,
guys.
okay
Let's
now.
relax.
Just get
Stay
out.
with us. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.